Welcome World History. Today I will be giving a tour of my castle. I hope you like it. There's my castle right there. So to get a better view of it, let's get an aerial view. That's what I'm talking about right there. So this is my castle, and this is just about the best view of it that you can get. So that's pretty good. I like that. So let's see. Let's start off with the entrance. So basically, this is kind of like the road that would lead to the castle, and basically this can like branch off. I didn't branch it off very far, but like I assume like around the castle there will be like all the different farms and stuff, and or they grow their food. Here's the well right here, and so I figure this is where like the people will be getting their water. There will also be a guard kind of watching over all this stuff, make sure that no invaders come and try to take their food or water. Obviously there will be more than just one little plot of farmland, but this gives you an idea of like how it would be situated. I'm sure that there would, just like this, I'm sure that there would be like a guard watching over it, just like the water. So there will be a guard here probably watching over it. Then you get to the actual castle. So here we go. So we looked at the well. We got it right there. Let's see. Next we have the castle wall. Well, obviously that's a good looking castle wall right there. We have the castle wall. Let's take a closer look at it. So basically, I kind of have this this pattern of like a block and an empty space, and a block and an empty space, and I think that looks really good. Before we get to the like actual castle wall, you have to go to the palisade. So this surrounds the whole castle. I guess you can just believe me. It goes around the whole castle, and basically this is the fence to stop the invaders from getting in. It protects against invaders or animals getting in. And then along with that you have the moat right in front of it. I didn't flatten out the water, but that's the moat. So basically this moat goes all the way around, and it's right in front of the palisade. And basically this will just add an extra defense from any invaders getting any closer to the main castle. And then along with the moat we have the drawbridge, which kind of goes along with it. So basically I figure, okay, so right here I did this type of block just to remember. These are the pivot points. So basically from there it will like kind of lift up, and so that'll kind of add, like, fill in the spot between the palisades, like the two sides of the palisades right there. So then you'll just have a moat and a giant wall that you have to get past, with there will probably be defenders right on the other side trying to shoot you. So this is a well-defended castle, because you have to get through many different layers of defense. And then after you go past, if you do, past the drawbridge, you have the portcullis. And basically that's just like a fence that comes down. So right here you have the fence that'll drop down right about there, and that'll come down, and the goal is for it to trap any enemies. This one will come down too. So then in this area right here, any enemies that are trying to push their way through into the main area of the castle, they'll be exposed to, up here, the murder holes. So basically from the inside, the I guess the defenders would come through the door and man the murder holes and just throw anything that they could down at the enemies to try to stop them from getting any farther into the castle, which I think is pretty cool. And then the staircase. So that brings us to the inside of the castle. So here's the inside. It's not completely filled with space, but it definitely has all of the main towers and components. I can always make it more detailed, but here's my keep. So this is the most secure building in the whole castle. So it is the biggest, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. So basically, this is the keep. You go inside the keep, and I have my staircase. Now, the keep, to kind of understand why the keep is so important, this is like the last resort. So this is where you go when you have no other alternative. So the enemies would probably be somewhere around this area, and in the meantime, everyone would be evacuating into the keep. So this is well defended, and you have this spiral staircase that kind of goes up along the way. So obviously, you'd have tons of guards around this area, guarding any entrances, probably putting blocks in front of it, you know. You'd put blocks in front of the door, try to stop any invaders from getting in. But really, it's just to be a place of refuge. So you kind of have different layers, because obviously they'd be under siege, and so they'd kind of have to be like manning up their, like they'd have to sleep here. So they'd have to have rooms and spots to sleep. So you have a bunch of space for beds and for food and stuff. So this just keeps going up. There's different layers, and I figured that, okay, so all of the action and all of the invaders are coming in all the way at the bottom. So I figured all the way at the top, you'd have like the most wealthy people and the king. So like right around here, you might have like the top political people, and then at the very top you'd have the king and probably some of his most trusted like guards. And this is where you'd make your last stand if you had to. So that's kind of where this leads to. So this is a spiral staircase. It branches off into different floors. So that's what I thought would kind of go well with the keep, with the staircase. And then lastly, you have the postern gate. So it's not supposed to be easy to find. So that's it's on the outside of the castle. I mean, it leads to the inside, but okay. So I hit it very well. Work with me here. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, okay. So you have this tower. It's just a random tower. You wouldn't really think anything of it, but you come around here and come around this area. Oh, there's the door. Come right in. This leads you to, oh yeah, by the way, I'll show you. This is kind of where the, I guess you could call it barracks would be. So, oh, well, I can use the ladder. So in there, I figured that would be rooms. I have like 4 rooms on each layer. I didn't get like finished furnishing the rooms, but that's where I figured like the barracks would be. So you come up here to the next floor, and you can go all the way across like the whole castle through these hallways, which is really handy because say you had enemies invading on like the north side of the castle, you'd need to be able to get all of your soldiers that were say in this barracks, you need to get them all the way to the other side. So same with the bottom floor, this goes all the way across. This is of course the entrance, and so this is just kind of important to be able to get from tower to tower very easily. We have another like, I guess, walkway up here. You have a great view. I mean, you could have your archers here shooting down when the enemies are invading. So this is really good spots to be defensively. Okay, so this is kind of like the guard towers. I also figured that you could have rooms in here. So I have, all of these are basically the same on the corners, but these are the guard towers, and you have a view of like, as far as you can see, just of any enemies that are coming. So like these towers, the people in these towers would be the first ones to be able to see the enemies coming, and so they have to be able to get the news out quickly, which is why it's so important that there's easy routes to all parts of the castle. So I decorated some of these. So I figure, so as you can see, I have like 4 beds in here, and I did that because I figure when you have a castle, obviously you're not trying to get everyone luxurious room, you're trying to make the most of your space. So I figured that they'd probably try to fit 4 people, like 4 guards living in a room this size, and I think that that's actually pretty realistic because they probably didn't get a lot of space. So you have the towers here. Last thing just to show is probably where the people, like the main commoners, would be sleeping. So in these inside towers, like those and these, this is where like the main commoner people would be. There might be like a guard up here kind of watching over the tower for the commoners, like you see here. You just have like lookouts here. But I think that these rooms, so right here, that would be a room, that would be a room for a commoner. So these would all be different rooms for the commoners, I figure. You'd probably have like 2 beds in a room of this size. And so that just kind of shows how the space would be used. I'm sure that in all of this open space there would be like markets and maybe some stables and stuff like that, but this is all the essential stuff that a castle would have. So that's it. Thank you.